Hey, it's the president. It's time for the Bennington Show, the only father-daughter radio show in the history of radio. And it turns out the prize inside the Happy Meals we've always seen in Trump's Twitter was hydroxychloroquine. I'm Vito Calise, a.k.a. hydroxychloroquine medicine woman. It's Ron Bennington. Gail Bennington. The Bennington Show.
Well, my mind is going through them changes. I feel just like committing a crime. Every time you see me going somewhere, I know I'm going out of my mind, yeah. Oh, my baby, she left me the other day, and we were having a lot of fun. Oh, she knew I just love her so, and that's the reason why she had to run. So right, you know what I mean? So right, what I said.
Yeah, buddies, it's the Bennington Show, the only father-daughter radio show in the history of social distance radio. I'm Gail Bennington.
I'm Ron Bennington, already laughing, and I'll tell you why, Gail, if you go back and listen to that opening, because Vito started with the Fat Albert voice. He never got back to his own voice properly, so he came in like an octave higher than he normally talks. So he just said, "It's Gail Bennington. It's Ron Bennington." It was so fucking funny.
Do you know I could not figure out the Bennington Show was much higher than it's ever been, and for some reason I didn't even make the connection. I was like, why did he do that so high today?
The Bennington Show. He's like a Motown guy. Like when sometimes he'll just sing, like Prince will do that. He'll just sing
Right.
his fucking song way up there, you know.
Yeah. There's no coming
But
down.
I know what happened to him. He started in the Fat Albert, like right, and then he couldn't get back. He went back to his own voice, but shot past it much higher. Well, you can tell the show's live. You know what I mean? No
Show
take
must go
two
on.
here. Yeah. Speaking of which, we have an outtake up on the Instagram stories from yesterday, and it's you and Juju. But it's very, very funny because it looked like you had a good take there. I mean, she was jumping around on the bed while you were doing the show.
Yeah, it was a good take, but then, I normally pride myself on being a consummate professional, but I did break. I did actually break and laugh, so it did not make the cut. But it would have been a perfect take if I would have been able to keep it together.
If you ever watched the Seinfeld DVDs, Kramer was constantly pissed that those guys would break during the Kramer stuff, right?
Yeah.
And everybody would be laughing, and Kramer would be like, "Hey, come on. This shit isn't easy. And, I only have a couple takes in me." Like, he never was part of the gang at all. And I figure that's the way Juju went with you.
I know. And the funny thing is, too, like, you would always see Elaine, you would see Julia Louis-Dreyfus always breaking.
This is cute. A couple of Brian wrote this and Mark wrote this. And you know what they both called what Juju did at the end of that?
What?
The trust fall. They were both impressed that she it's one is coming in after the other. They're all bringing up the term trust fall.
Well,
I don't even think I knew this term.
Yeah, so she does the trust fall a lot, and that's why I'm laughing so hard, is that she does it at unexpected moments. This started like a couple weeks ago, where she would climb onto a high point. She would like get up on the couch and then just go 1, 2.
Oh,
so I would
God.
have to dive across the room to catch her. And sometimes she doesn't even give me the count, which is what she just did. So she is doing a crazy trust fall without giving me any warning.
That's not good. I'm not a fan of that. Yeah, just one person after another writing the term trust fall. Don't trust me. I can't be counted on.
You will not catch.
Look, it's the Bennington Show. Vito, do you have your voice back to your normal speaking voice?
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm recovered from whatever that was.
Did it occur to you that was happening?
I definitely felt a little higher as I was saying. I don't think I noticed it till I was saying your guys' names, and then it was just too late to turn back at that point.
100% right. You couldn't drop back down. You were already moving. It was a runaway train. God, that was fucking hilarious. Gail, what's your big story of the day?
I've got to say that my big story of the day is Pasquale's Pizza. Up on the food delivery apps, people are noticing a pizza place that they'd never seen before. Pasquale's Pizza. It is actually Chuck E. Cheese. Changed their name on the apps, created a new logo because nobody wants to order Chuck E. Cheese pizza in the middle of the pandemic. So they have taken Pasquale's Pizza as their new name.
They're calling it a virtual kitchen. So the virtual kitchen is the same pizza. It's the same pizza that they make at Chuck E. Cheese. Now, you were probably a little kid during the hideousness that takes place where every birthday party is at Chuck E. Cheese.
I went to many birthday parties there as a kid.
I don't know whether you know it or not, but adults are not big fans of Chuck E. Cheese. It's the closest thing to school cafeteria pizza that probably exists in the real world.
Yeah, I can't imagine it being good.
Here's the funny thing, and I don't even know whether you're aware of this, but Chuck E. Cheese, I think that they had pitched it years ago that the guy who started Chuck E. Cheese was an orphan, right? I think they even used to write it and you could read it on the menu or something, and that he was an orphan and he never had a birthday party, so he wanted to do this thing where kids could have birthday parties all the time. Because if you think about Chuck E. Cheese, it's very weird. It's only birthday parties. Like, it's only birthday parties and weekend dads because you can get beer. So the true thing is, this guy who started Atari, the video game arcade Atari, he started it as a way to shove the video games in there and get kids playing the video games. It was always a corporate thing from the beginning. So this guy's been running a carny scam for 35 fucking years, 40 years. And I mean, a lot of times when people are scamming the public, you got to get mad at them. But all this is going to cost you is one pizza before you're like, God damn it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not.
There is no Pasquale.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, too. When I was a kid, this Italian family moved onto my block, and the kid's name was Gino, and his middle name was Pasquale. And I'd never heard it before or after. And we were like, what? What is your name? And he's like, it's an Italian name, Pasquale. And then we ended up calling him Piss Squash as a way of just fucking being terrible kids. But the fact that he did this guy, I'm trying to think of what his name is because I've read stuff about him before. It's Bushnell. Bushnell is his name. But this is the interesting thing about him. So back in the 70s, he hires a fucking guy to work out a new game for him, right? The game was called Breakout. I don't know if you're probably too young to remember Breakout, but it was one of those first runs after Pong of video games that would show up in bars and everybody would play it, relentlessly. So it was like, I think right before Space Invaders took over. So this fucking guy, he can't work it out. He can't run this game. So he gets another friend to come in and help him. And that was Steve Jobs was the guy who was hired. And he brought in Wozniak. Wozniak did all the work. and Jobs didn't even give him a half. He just peeled out a couple of fucking bucks for him, you know? And then those two guys, they went back to this guy, Bushnell, and they go, we want to start a computer company. If you give us $50,000, you could have a third of it. And he said no. And now here he is selling fake fucking pizzas during the pandemic. He could have had a third of Apple for 50 fucking grand.
It's so great. Now he's got this pizza rat scheme, though.
Yeah. It's fucking hilarious. I don't care. I mean,
so funny.
I get mad at a lot of people for being assholes, but this one, I mean, you just have to fucking laugh and say, look, I'll put up on Yelp that it's actually, because this started like almost from Jump Street when the pandemic started, because people were just like, oh, my pizza place is closed. Is there anything open? And all of a sudden, this Pasquale's pizza shows up, and they're all like, yeah, I'll give it a try. Never been there, but I'll give it a try. You're getting a fucking goddamn Chuck E. Cheese pizza.
It's so good. It's so funny that they pulled this gimmick, and I love that they like quick made a logo and everything for it. Like, what? We've always done this. What's the big deal? Pasquale's pizza and wings. You know, that's what we're known for.
Hey, you like your wings underdone? Call Pasquale.
Ew, underdone wings.
They're practically
I like them
raw.
rare. I remember the pizza kind of being distinct. Like, you're a kid and you don't really have a good palate, but I remember it just being weird and not tasting like other pizza. But I do strangely remember liking birthday cake from Chuck E. Cheese. And I think the reason was they were like very cheap cakes. And instead of having like a real icing, it was just whipped cream. And I really liked that. So instead of like having a real icing.
Here's what used to happen at Chuck E. Cheese with you kids, right? So you would go there when you're an adult. Mm-hmm. All the kids are excited. They all want to go to the fucking ball pit. And they're all running everywhere. Everybody wants fucking tokens. You know what I mean? And everybody wants to go in the ball pit. Now, if you're running the party, you really needed extra parents there. You know what I mean? Because there were so many things that had to be guarded. And you didn't want to be on ball pit duty if you're a dad, because you're like, those kids, they disappear under there. They start crying. There's tunnels. They start to fucking cry. There's a position that was annoying too, which is, could somebody stay with the table while the kids are running around?
Oh, no, that's not fun.
It's not fun, but at least you're not at the ball pit or counting heads. You basically give up any responsibility, and then you just sit at the table, and when some kid comes back, you'll go, why don't you just sit down? They're all going to be back in a little while anyway. We're going to, the pizza's going to be here soon. And then they would eat half the pizza, and they'd go running back, and then you'd have to sit there, and then the kids would be like, why don't you just sit here, because we're going to sing happy birthday and give out the cake in a little bit. You just sit next to somebody so somebody doesn't steal the presents. It's a fucking nightmare. It's terrible. A nightmare.
I can still remember crawling through those tight tunnels. You could hear the screams of panicked children and just the smell of children's pizza farts. Just trapped in the tunnels.
And guess what? A lot of them probably weren't even from today. You know what I mean? Those are leftover pizza farts baked right into the walls of those fucking tunnels. Those tunnels is where a young Elon Musk got the idea of the Boring Company. He was like, hey, what if we had these tunnels under the ground? We could drive to work that way. This is when his dad was running blood diamond mines in South Africa.
Not such a boring idea, right, guys?
Yeah, got it, everybody? Boring.
Boring.
Take the red pill. Seriously, enjoy yourself at Chuck E. Cheese today.
find out the truth. I took the red pill on Pasquale's pizza.
I by the way, I know why I know this story about the guy who started Chuck E. Cheese, because this made me laugh. He has started like a ton of companies in his life. He's one of those guys. It's like, I don't know, 30 fucking companies he started at one point or another. And they were going to give him some kind of Silicon Valley award a couple years ago, right? And it was just as the Me Too movement started, where they decided, hey, we've now remembering meetings in the hot tubs and, I don't know what it was, just show your tits 80s talk. They weren't going to give him this award. By the way, who gives a fuck late in life if you get an award and it isn't known outside of your community? Who really cares? And I remember he said something like, hey, I'm glad all this stuff came up. We're all learning. It's so goddamn funny. All right, I want to play a little clip of the President of the United States. And before, all the red pills get upset, just relax for a minute, okay? It's not political talk. Just fucking relax. And if you don't like the president, also relax. This is not about his fucking career. This is what's great about this. Trump is a New York guy born in Queens. You never get to hear his accent. But I was watching him yesterday, and all of a sudden, you just hear New York pop the fuck out, right? And he never dropped. First of all, he was born in Queens, but the Trumps have a long thing of like, once their kids get to a certain age, they just send them somewhere out in the sticks into schools, military schools, private schools. I think the youngest here, the genius, he's the only one who stayed with his mom. The rest of them, they got shipped. And so, none of them really have the accent. But when you listen to Trump in this, he gets a little pissed and he comes out pure New York. And it's so fucking funny to me. Again, not political. Settle the fuck down. Give yourself a rest from your political views. All right, Vito, go ahead and play this and listen to, this is when I guess they found out, they were mad that Mike Pompeo gets people that work for the government to walk his dog or go to his house and do his fucking dishes, which is also hysterical. I mean, this is Chuck E. Cheese hilarious to me. But here's Trump backing him up, and listen to the New York accent pop out.
The Democrats and the fake news media, they're interested in a man who's walking their dog, and maybe he's busy, and maybe he's negotiating with Kim Jong-un, okay, about nuclear weapons, so that he'd say, please, could you walk my dog? Do you mind walking my dog? I'm talking to Kim Jong-un, or I'm talking to President Xi about paying us for some of the damage they've caused to the world and to us. Please walk my dog.
Please walk my dog. I'm
Walk
on the
my
fucking
dog.
phone right now. Walk the dog. Walk the fucking dog right now.
Just walk the dog. I need somebody to walk the dog.
Walk the dog and get me some coffee. Coffee and a dog. Give me a dirty water dog while you're walking the dog. Walk the fucking dog. I'm on the
I'm talking to
fucking
President
phone.
Xi.
I'm talking to Chi right now about the fucking money he owes us. You know how much green this fucking guy's into us for? Walk the dog. Walk my fucking dog. Walk that fucking dog right now. Make sure that dog shits and pisses, and then bring that dog back to me. Pick up his shit, chuck it away in a dumpster, and then bring the dog back. I gotta have my dog. And get me some coffee. maybe a bagel and a schmear. Maybe a little schmear on a bagel and bring me back some coffee and bring me back my dog. I love that dog.
And a
That's a
seltzer.
good dog. Yeah, get a
seltzer?
seltzer. That is so funny to hear him drop into it after all this time.
I know. Because normally he has his own Trump accent that no one else sounds like.
Right. Right, because he was a couple different places.
Right. But
This
this
is a
time
great
walked a
man.
dog.
Look, this man wants his dog walked. He wants his dishes done. What do you want him to do? Do his own dishes? What if his wife's not home?
Insane.
It's always funny, I've worked in radio a long time, and there's a lot of producers, and they'll come from other shows, and they'll come from big shows, and you'll interview them, and you find out that they weren't producers at all. They were personal assistants. You know what I mean? Like, their job was to, during the show, go get the guy's car washed or make his fucking travel plans for him, or you know what I mean, get his dinner reservations, all these things. But then you find out they don't know how to run radio the way our guys do. They couldn't do what Vito does, what Chris does.
Right.
They were
They know how to walk a
basically,
dog.
Yeah, they could walk a dog for you. Earl used to do that in NEW for Scotso. He'd take Scotso's dog out, And Earl and mine, he took 2-3 hours at the time, just walking the dog.
Takes a long time to walk a dog.
You should get on your knees and suck that dog's dick. That dog is a big player in this business. I need that dog happy for me to get happy. I'll fucking tear your eyeball out if you don't walk that dog right now. Walk that dog. And, like, people are like, well, he shouldn't have people walking the dog. Why don't you fucking say it to him? Why when you go like this to Pompeo? I don't know. You've been gone a long time. Maybe you didn't hear. I don't walk dogs anymore, okay? Pompeo's like, oh, look at him. He's a big shot now. He doesn't have any time for me, right? Hey, I'm busting your balls a little bit. That's all I'm doing. Now do me a favor. Go walk the fucking dog. Walk it. Walk that dog. So now Pompeo, he found out that this other guy was running a gimmick. So he fired him. And they're all like, I don't know. This is the last I had no idea that he was doing that. Because they were looking into him fucking making people run around and do shit for him. He had some guy down, a fucking Secret Service guy's got a toothbrush trying to fucking scrape the bacon strips out of his underwear while he's screaming at him. Do me a favor. I had a rough day today. Sing me a little song, would you? Just sing me a song while I sit with my eyes closed. Do a little soft shoe too, would you?
I had a long cold she.
Walk your dog. I'd rather show you my dick than fucking walk your dog. Could you imagine if you worked with someone and then you see that guy out walking the boss's fucking... First of all, why is his dog at work? What kind of a fucking snowflake is him that he can't go to work without his dog? Walk that dog. Walk that fucking dog right now. I'm going to
What's
ask
the big
Chris
deal?
Stanley
Somebody's
this
got to
one.
walk the dog.
Chris Stanley, did we ever have you do anything embarrassing like that?
Not that I can remember. Everything's been pretty work-related. No walking of the dog.
I know that you will, like, you'll look for, on travel trips, you'll look for, like, airline tickets, but you would never do that for our personal. What if I said, look, I want you to book a nice vacation for me. I'm really looking to get out there.
I honestly think Chris would have fun doing it.
Yeah.
I don't think he would complain.
would like to do that, Ron. I would love to be your travel agent. That'd be fucking fantastic.
What I want you to do is start thinking fall outfits for me. You know what I mean?
Okay. You know what? Fashion's not my forte, but I would love to jump into that.
No, really?
Yeah, I'm surprised. Get me a fucking... I wouldn't mind just having you bake bread during the show and bring us in some hot bread.
God.
I would gladly do that. Once we're all back together, you guys are getting a fucking shitload of carbs.
I've been thinking about that. Like, if and when we're all able to get back together again.
The if scares me.
Is Chris going to continue to bake? And if so, will he be bringing in baked goods?
100% yes to both those questions. You guys will be getting bagels on the reg.
Now,
will you
here's the
continue to
thing.
washboard?
No, I don't. I want to get out of the washboard thing as soon as I feel safe enough to.
Now, here's the thing, Gail. I remember when he used to come into every show fucking baked.
He's grown. You know what I mean? He's not just a dog walker anymore.
And when he was an intern, he would only walk in about once a week and give me burned CDs. Like, here's a new movie out. And I'm like, okay, thanks, Chris. I don't know if I even fucking watched any of them. They were all, you know what I mean? They were basically Chinatown bullshit.
They were pretty bad. I remember I gave you a copy of Blades of Glory where there was definitely multiple people, and they were Asian because it was shot in Hong Kong. People just walking in front of the screen, and it was at an angle. But I thought you might like it.
Had you ever seen anything? I call them Chinatown because they sell them down there, or they used to sell them down there. But they would literally, Gail, go into a movie theater, shoot the fucking movie, put it on DVD, just burn it right from the computer into a DVD, and then sell them for a couple bucks.
Yeah. I love they would sell them on the street, but then sometimes they would just go into different shops and just try to sell it to people who were in the shops for something else, or even store owners. And once in Brooklyn, I was getting a tattoo, and a woman came in with a bag of burned DVDs of movies. And then everybody, including the guy who was giving me the tattoo, started going through them. Like, hey, guys, can we get back to work, please? I'm mid-tattoo. Just feel like you've lost your focus here.
Let me just say this as a father. That's the most low rent thing I ever fucking heard in my life. If you were a little girl and they said someday she's going to be looking at burned fucking DVDs while she's getting a tattoo, I would have said, look, send her to military school right now. I don't even care if it's our military.
Tell her to go walk the dog.
Walk it. Walk the dog. Don't run the dog. Walk the dog. Just fucking walk it. Walk it. A lot of people are loving your juju outtake, Gail.
The trust fall was quite a shock, as you could see from my face. I was not expecting it.
Somebody just sent me this. It's a fucking big fire in an apartment building on the Upper East Side. I got to make sure it's not my building. Because I have smelled smoke, and I went over and touched the door handle, and it burnt my hand. I hope that's not a bad sign.
Yeah, it seems like it would be.
There was a big... I'll be on New York 1. I was walking my dog. I came back. I smelled smoke. Next thing I fucking know...
There was a big fire in Harlem. I think it was yesterday, and I'm forgetting the name of the department store, but there was like a pretty old department store that was burned down that's been there like for a very long time. Pretty iconic department store. I can't remember the name of it.
I bet Earl knows, and it's not because he's black, but because he's a New York historian, and also because, you know, he was walking his dog in New York 1. Hey, look who it is. It's New York 1. Please, put me on here. I want to tell everybody this fucking story. So, I I forgot to tell you this. So Gurion is so fucking happy that he's the Easter egg. And then he wrote to me and he said he got interviewed for New York One about the COVID. And he goes, I dropped you and Gail's name. I hope they use it. I go, I don't care if you use it or not. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to change my life if my name ends up on New York One. We don't have Earl?
No, we did. He was up that whole time.
Well, go ahead, Earl.
Yeah, it was on 125th and Adam Clayton Boulevard.
Adam
I
Clayton,
know.
Isn't that the guy in U2?
No, wrong Adam Clayton.
Okay.
Do you know
I was
the name
surprising.
of it?
Yeah, it's the Lazarus. Lazarus?
That's it. Yeah.
Pronounce the word
Lazarus.
correctly.
That's it.
Earl used to go there for his school pants.
Among other places. Yeah, but that was a
Yes,
pretty
of course,
popular,
among other places. I didn't say that you exclusively went to Adam Clayton's to get your fucking underwear. Earl, now Scotzo used to make you walk his dog, right? And then you also had to pick him up a half gallon of vodka every day before the show.
No, he was driving, but I did on at least two occasions when he had a good day at the track. I had to go to OTB and pick up his winnings, and I got a nice tip from it too.
Go pick up my winnings right now, Earl. You ever have to stay at his house?
I'm sorry?
You ever have to stay at his house?
No, never stayed at the Muni compound.
Now, let me tell you this. So when I used to do the Ron and Ron show, fucking Fezzi not only used to have to finish lunch for somebody, he had to eat the rest of their lunch so it wouldn't go bad. You know what I mean? Because it's a sin. But when he went away, Fez had to go and stay at his house, sleep on the downstairs sofa, right? So Fez, you might know this about him, he's a little bit of a nervous fucking person, right? Mm-hmm. So while he's staying at this person's house that he doesn't know and he's scared, I set my alarm clock. I go over there like 3:30 in the morning, just start fucking throwing shit against the window and banging on different parts of the fucking house. Just to scare the piss out of him in the middle of the night. And you know why I did that, Gail?
Why?
Respect. That's why I did it. Respect. That's how I show love and respect, with a prunk. All right, Hard Rock Johnny's on the hotline. You can bring down these other guys. Johnny. Johnny, what's going on with your hair? I see you out smoking cigars and your hair's all over the fucking place.
I don't know. I need a haircut or something, but it's the least of our problems. Okay.
By the way, Johnny,
It's crazy.
how high up is your apartment? 80 fucking floors?
We're on the we're on the 16th, but without the 13th, so we're on the 17th floor. I actually saw the fire in Harlem from my balcony in New Jersey. I could see the smoke from it. I was like, wow, there's something really big going on out there. It was Saturday night, I think it was. Or Sunday, maybe.
All right, so what's up? You're giving us now fire alarm fucking stories, Johnny? That's what you have been reduced to after all these years?
No, I'm just so pissed off about this whole Pasquale's Pizzeria because that's my goddamn last name. And why did they have to choose that? Honestly, why? There's a million other Italian things in this world, and they got to choose my last name for shitty pizza. I mean,
But weren't you the little animatronic pizza man? Weren't you always dancing with Chucky?
I wish.
That's the branding that they had. That's literally his name.
Right.
So they would go ahead. It's always been there. It's always been there.
Because there's I think there's 6 or 7 Pasquale pizzerias in Tom's, down by my house down the shore. There's at least 6 of them around there. So it's not very original. There's a lot of Pasquale's Pizzeria. But I was really pissed off when that story broke.
Johnny, I saw your fucking pizza that you put up. It's about the same. You put up.
It was worse.
And on top of that, my goddamn pizza stone broke immediately after I used it for my first use of my pizza stone. So forget it.
You know why, right? You ran it too hot. It was a little too hot in there.
450 degrees. That's not too hot.
Oh,
pizza.
Jesus Christ. You're burning the shit out of it now.
Nope.
Johnny, you could be sued for calling that thing a pizza. That was at best a pizza abortion.
It was really bad, but I had to post the picture.
I give you credit, though. I don't think I could have posted it.
I don't care. I post plenty of delicious food. I make probably more food than I don't even know. I make a lot of food. I don't mind having one or two bad ones.
What kind of a fucking rambling Trump statement was that? I do more food than a lot of food.
I'm number one in food.
Look, I could walk a dog. I could do the dishes. People have never seen this kind of food before. I'm hearing all the time from people.
They've been calling it the number one food.
Ever. People call me up. They'll go, Johnny, this food's so good. Make more of it. I go, I can't. Johnny, this whole thing that you're into now, you don't have your gym open. They're trying to open up the gyms in Jersey. Your hair is going fucking crazy. Your pizza stones are breaking down. You're having the worst quarantine I've ever seen in my life.
It's been rough. It's been a little rough, I gotta be honest. And I'm not like Vito, like running to work or anything. I don't have work to run to.
You would, though, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I ride my bike a lot. What am I going to do? But there's no work to run to, so I got to do something.
All right, Johnny. Good luck to you, though, okay?
Well,
this whole thing blows over. You're going to be a better man for it. Trust me. All right?
I'm going to try. For sure.
Hey, Pasquale, good pizza. Pasquale, nice. Nice, Pasquale. Now go get your fucking shine box. All right, talk to you soon. Peace.
Later, Benningtons.
Yeah.
Bye, Johnny.
Later to you. Bye, Johnny. Bye, Johnny.
Bye, Johnny. Bye, Johnny.
By Johnny Pasquale. Oh, your pizza tastes like shit. Thank you. He's Italian and he can't make a pizza. You got this fucking Chris Stanley. God knows what he is. He's gypsy. He's, just basically comes from a long line of chicken thieves. And he can bake like there's no tomorrow.
Look, like hearing Johnny talk about his aborted pizza attempt. This is what he did wrong. I'm sure he put the pizza stone in way too late. You got to put the pizza stone in before the oven's even on, so otherwise it's gonna fucking crack. And I saw that pizza. That was some horrific looking pizza.
You were afraid to say this to Johnny's face.
Yeah, well, you know what? Now that he's saying it, makes total fucking sense. The heat hit it too quick. It didn't fucking warm up first, right? And I'll tell you why. Here's Johnny's biggest fucking problem. He's always in a hurry. Where you going, Johnny? There's a fucking quarantine on right now. What are you rushing out to? What are you doing? We're running out to see if fucking somebody needs to tie off Jimmy Buffett's boat? He ain't taking it out, Johnny. Warm up your pizza stone.
That's the key.
I'll tell you Johnny's biggest fucking problem. Everybody got a trophy. You know what I mean? Oh, here's your trophy. Here's your trophy. In the meantime, when you get in life, you don't get a fucking trophy for throwing your pizza stone into a hot oven. No. What do you get? A shit fucking pizza that everybody's laughing at you for.
I know. I'm so sick of these participation pizza trophies.
Here's the problem with Johnny. And please don't, I hope I'm not, going too far with this. He's got two problems. He won't warm up a pizza stone and he won't warm up a woman. He just jumps right in.
Yep. This says everything about him.
And she's like, what are you doing? I'm not even fucking ready right now, Johnny. Give me a kiss. Give me a touch. Something. He wants to get in and out because he's got to fucking throw a stone into a hot oven.
It's embarrassing.
Ridiculous. You know, a lot of people fucking complain that we got this COVID from the Chinese, but we really got it from the Italians. It came in through New York. You ain't flying from fucking China to New York. You're flying from fucking Rome to New York to drop off a fucking bag of money. I always wondered if Johnny was connected. Everything about him, you know what I mean? Seems like he was connected. And Earl has always been petrified of Johnny's temper. Petrified.
Oh, yeah. He's very nervous
Always.
about it.
One time I said, Earl, jump in the car with Johnny, run in. Earl gets in the back seat. I go, what are you doing in the fucking back seat? He goes, I don't want anybody behind me. You know, he's always fucking looking around. Look who's on the line right now. It's one of our real serious XM friends. You know what I'm saying, Gail?
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
people, I mean, people that we love, people that have been there for us, people that we've been there for. It's Lauren down the hall. She's a big time producer at Sirius XM Hits One, and then she hosts that Fireball show late nights on Hits One. We haven't talked to her since the shit hit the fan. Lauren down the hall, everybody.
What's
Hey,
up,
Lauren.
buddies? What's up, guys? Good to talk to you all.
So I'm gonna guess that you're holed up now in Staten Island.
I am in the mean streets of Staten Island.
Who you quarantined with?
I am quarantined with my parents, my grandmother, and my 12 chihuahuas.
Do you really have 12 chihuahuas?
I
not 12,
swear
really?
to God on the Bible, they're rescues. We have 12 in the
I
house.
would.
I need a picture of all 12.
I can send you that. Yep, that could be done.
Yeah. Now,
Please
here's the
do.
deal. When I was a little kid, my mom had a chihuahua, right? This fucking dog, now that I'm a grown adult, I understand what anxiety is. This dog would
Yes.
just shake. It was so nervous. Somebody would hit ring the doorbell, and this dog would like a shot all around the house, freaking out. I'm like, I know, someone's at the fucking door. Okay? We're fine.
And now
12
maximize
of
that
them-
by 12 in my house.
I honestly would hang myself.
Everybody has a different path in life, right, Ron?
Yeah, you are. So you're doing your show out of the house with your folks, right?
I am running a radio station from my house. I'm doing a show from my house. Technology is damn amazing. It's actually really
It
crazy.
really is.
But
It really
Yeah,
surprised me. And when they brought this up that you'll be doing this out of your house, did you even believe them, or you're like, what are you talking about?
you know, like what was funny, what actually happened, I was in LA when the shit hit the fan, so to speak, when the NBA canceled their season and Trump stopped international travel. So while the ceiling was caving in, I was trying to get back from Los Angeles. And when I came back, the city was a ghost town. So no, I couldn't believe it. It was shocking. Shocking.
Yeah, it did happen fast. But I remember when Jim was saying, I'm going to send you an IP Kodak. You're going to do it from your house. I'm going to send an IP Kodak. Gail will do it for her house. I'm like, for how long? He goes, maybe 2 or 3 days, whatever. You know what I mean? At least you'll have it. And I was like, 2 or 3 days? We're never going to be able to do 2 or 3 days out of our house. That's a nightmare. Here we are this time later. He was right.
Yeah, here we
Once
are.
again, Ronnie. Yeah.
Probably, we don't
now-
know, indefinitely. But
Now, here's the problem with your format. Are you getting new music? Because you guys have to have new product all the time in that format. You know, the classic
Yep.
rock, you're fine. But you
Yep.
guys need new hits all the time.
yeah, well, you know what? Everything has turned virtual. We are still doing, on Hits One, we're still doing all our interviews. It's now over Zoom. So we do all our events virtually. New music is still coming in. The world is still turning. We adapted really quickly. The whole pop culture world did. So I was
It's
surprised.
weird, right? I am
Mhm,
too.
big time.
So people are just home studios is what they're doing. They're recording home studios.
Yeah, yep. I mean, I'm in my bedroom. So my bedroom's now my studio.
It's so crazy. Gail, you do the
It
same
is.
thing, right? You're in your
Yes,
bedroom?
Mm-hmm.
It's my quietest room, and it's the easiest to shut off into. So I had to do that. And then my husband uses the kitchen as his office.
You know, this morning when I got up, there was construction at a building near me, and I'm yelling out the window, "I'm on the fucking air in an hour and a half. I need you to be done by." And they're like, "You're on the air." I must sound like a crazy person. You know what I mean? I'm just yelling out, "I'm on the air."
Yes, you're suffering COVID delusions. They must have thought you were nuts.
So, does it feel totally different for you, Lauren, or you've already adapted? You're fine with this?
You know, I feel like I'm a very organized type of list-oriented person. So I feel like I'm built to thrive in quickly adapting in situations like this. So I don't want to say it was easy, but it definitely wasn't super hard. I adapted really quickly. It was kind of like fight or flight. You had to. With Hits 1, we moved so fast, you can't afford to take a pause even for a moment. So things have been all right.
Yeah. My producer, Chris Stanley, just sat down on the floor for 4 days without having a thought. He just completely melted down. I should have stole Lauren years ago when she was with cousin Brucey. I should have just grabbed her and said, "You're with me now." Is Brucey okay through all this? Are you checking on him?
Yeah, Brucey, I have been. He is upstate in his home. He has a farmhouse in upstate New York, so him and his wife are up there, and he's doing the show from his home, just like you guys.
Oh, that's great.
Good for him.
Yep.
I love that man. You know who's crazy about cousin Brucey is my big sister.
Oh, really?
The only thing that she's ever been impressed with is like, "No, I'm right down the hall from Brucey." She's like, "Get out of here. Get out." I go, "No, seriously, I see him all the time." She couldn't believe it.
Wow.
Well,
she must have been.
Look, yeah. Now, Lauren, what about your love life? Can you see anybody during this quarantine?
Oh my God! You know it's so funny. No, I'm not. And like literally, it's going to be so harder now. What is dating going to look like post quarantine? I was seriously thinking about that. I just turned 28 on Sunday, so I'm like, finding a boyfriend or dating is going to be next to near impossible. Any advice would help, or perhaps a new Date Lauren competition in the post-COVID world. I'd be game for that, Ron.
I'd be afraid if somebody would kill you. I'd be afraid that I would put you together with somebody who was a carrier. Wait, you're turning 28. How old were you? How old were you when you came into Sirius?
I was just turned 19.
Unbelievable, isn't it, Gail?
Yeah, I know.
She's been there 9 years.
Yeah, that's crazy. You know, I was reading this article that what's big right now is the sext only on relationships, because you can't meet up, but you could just text back and forth, steamy text.
Is that enough though?
That could work.
I mean, I'll send you a dirty text right now. I got time. You know what I mean? You want some dirty texts? I'll write some filthy stuff to you. But
that's great because I only accept dirty texts. So that's great.
Yeah. Well, I got to tell you this. You're great, buddy, and we miss you. I don't know when we're all going to see each other again, but we got to have a big party or something when we get everybody. Let's have a big party and get everybody sick right when the spike hits again.
100%. I love you guys.
Just
too.
have a big
Ron,
open
Gail,
mouth
Vito.
kiss party.
Yeah.
That too. Thanks, buddy.
I'm so happy that you're doing well. Nobody works harder than Lauren down the hall. All right, we'll talk to you soon, buddy. Take care of yourself.
All right, thank you guys. Stay well. Bye-bye, buddies.
Bye-bye. What a nice kid she is.
Sweet thing.
I mean, I think I met her when she was an intern. I think I've known her for 9 years, which is like a third of her life. Literally her entire adult life. I've known her. Never saw her sit down. Never saw her walk slow. She has always been.
She's got somewhere to go.
A go-getter. Yeah, she knows everybody, and she's always been great. And that station, the top 40 station is just so different because they got to stay on everything all the time. You got to find out if some 15-year-old kid is blowing up or he's a fraud, you know?
Right.
You never go, okay, we got our artist. You know, if you work in classic rock, you're like, we're good. We got everything we need. We picked out 300 songs. Once a year, we'll switch out 10 of those songs. If you work in classic rock radio, be very, very used to say bad to the bone. You know what I mean? They got their songs. And you don't go deep on those artists anymore.
And, you know, you don't get to celebrate new releases, but there's always an anniversary.
Yeah. But the Beatles are constantly having a 50-year anniversary. Constantly. For the last fucking 6 years, there's been anniversaries of the Beatles, and everybody's talking about each album one at a time. And it's 50 fucking years old. It's like talking about the Civil War. I wonder why Vito was never interested, Lauren. She, you know, did he feel like too big and lurchy around him?
She is so petite. And she's just like such a little busy bee. It seems like it would be hard to catch her.
Yeah, she is. She's fast. Vito, you got a little dinner coming in from us Friday night.
Okay.
I know you don't like to eat it the night that it comes in. You like to let it wait.
My mother and I love to do Saturday night dinners. That's our get together night.
Now you got something. I'm going to tell you right now. It's Gold Belly, but after this, it seems like we'll be able to even order you guys some New York food. It's all opening back up again. Have you tried to order out at all, Vito? Have you had anything delivered to you?
Yeah, we ordered that. We ordered that pizza I mentioned to you a few weeks ago, and that was really good. And we ordered Shake Shack once.
How was that?
Shake Shack was pretty good. It was like they did delivery in the past, but this was by far their best delivery. We ordered from this local place by us that's pretty popular called Jacob's Pickles, but we ordered that pretty early when I don't think they had never done delivery before, and I don't think they really had it down at that point. Like, it was very different from eating it there.
Right. I mean, that's how I feel about my sushi place, because you want to eat sushi immediately. You know what I mean? You don't ever want sushi dropped off. I'm literally 2 buildings away from them, and I'm like, can I get it back in time that it still tastes as fresh as I want it to taste? Because I don't want to live in a quarantine, Gail, and have my food not be as good.
I know. I mean, aren't we dealing with enough?
It seems like it to me. I'll also say this. Does COVID go in food? Do I got to worry about?
You know, some people have said no. I mean, most people that I know who have been doing takeout through this, what they're focused on is cleaning the boxes, taking it out of the takeout boxes, or like wiping down what they've been given, and then they guilt-free eat whatever is inside. They feel like you can't ingest it. I don't know why, but that's what some people think.
I noticed this, a great burger place on the Upper East Side, JG Mellon, opened back up, right? But you order in one window, right? You're outside. It's not like a drive-through or a walk-through window. It's just a regular window that they pulled up. So you go in, you put your order in there, and then you go stand near the other window and wait for it. And I was out walking the other night, and I'm like, should I come back with some burgers and fries? And then I'm like, I don't know. Might be. This whole fucking thing has me crazy right now.
Yeah, I know. I think, you know, if you haven't been doing takeout at this point, it's starting to just be like, I can't keep going on like this. I can't keep making my own damn food. I'm exhausted.
You hear the sirens, Gail?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm just hearing sirens. There's a high rise on fire near me. I hope some COVID didn't burst into fucking flames. hearing outside my building right now. Crazy. Yeah, you've been to JG, Melon, because we would do it a lot of times. We'd go to their village one after.
Yeah,
an
I've been to
Onmass at the
both,
Underground.
but
Yeah.
yeah. I love
Here's
that burger.
the thing about this. First of all, the one on the Upper East Side has got a very old grill, so it's delicious. And then also, they've got, or used to have, it doesn't matter as much anymore, but a great old school jukebox. You know what I mean? Like really fucking great music in there. So just being in that place was always a pleasure. You'd always have to wait a little bit. It was always packed, you know, but it had that hustle and bustle in it, you know. I remember
Yeah.
one time, and it's a little embarrassing, but Kathleen from the Bronx and Bri were up, and we were walking around looking. We walked forever. This is when I first moved to New York, and then we ended up at JG Mellon, and Kathleen comes in. She goes like this: "Well, hello, Mellon. It's my friend Helen. We want to get a burger and fries." And I'm like, why are you doing this? That's her, though. And then right away, straight to the jukebox, F7, Fire Lake, Bob Seger. Which is fine, no problem. Guess what? She pumps $2 in. She plays it 4 times in a row.
Oh, come on. That's too much.
When I was a kid in a bar, I would always go try to find the worst song I could and play it like 10 fucking times. And when everybody started fucking complaining, I would be yelling like, who the fuck did this? What kind of asshole would play Funky Town 10 fucking times in a row? One time I played it with Smoke Gets in Your Eyes, and it just kept fucking playing over and over. The whole bar was screaming. You know what I mean? I mean, that's just the kind of hairpin I was, you know? You know where I'd like to tell that story on Hits 1 if I get the opportunity? I feel like I should run up the street and see that fire. Maybe get myself on New York 1, mention Jeffrey Gurian, you know?
Yeah, please.
That way I don't owe him anything.
Yeah. You're even now.
A lot of people are saying don't trust food. Don't trust food. Vito, you got some nice food coming in, Gold Belly.
I can't wait. I love you guys. I love the people of Gold Belly.
All they do is deliver. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I love the choices you guys have made on there.
Well, we try to do a different city every time. And believe me, you would have been getting some lobster, but now we're finding out your family will have nothing to do with lobster.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom is not a fan of seafood. She told me that my grandma started just making her a separate meal on Christmas Eve every year, just so she could eat also.
Yeah, she ate 7 hot dogs every fucking Christmas Eve.
This one's
I'm gonna give you a
corn
hint.
dog.
Yeah. I'm going to give you a hit. We ordered from a place called Big Johnny Pasquale's Pizza Bullshits.
I think
Johnny, you got to warm the stone up.
as an Italian, the thing that bothered me the most about Pasquale's Pizza is the way they spelled Pasquale.
Like how?
They spelled it with a Y at the end instead of an E.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. These fucking people, they're not Italian. They're from California.
It's like if you ever see the name Seamus spelled for like Americans, it's spelled like originally it's spelled SEA, and then in America it's spelled like SHA.
Yeah.
They got to dumb things
I get
down.
it.
Honestly, Pasquale's Pizza is cultural appropriation. You should be livid.
I am. I've
I
never
ordered
liked
2 of them.
I've never liked I've never thought the fat Italian chef with the mustache that has a heavy accent was cool. I never understood why that's okay.
What about me? I'm Mario.
Here's the
I'm a
thing that you
Luigi,
got to
number
understand.
one.
If you get a fucking pizza and it says on the box, you've tried the rest, now try the best. Take that fucking box and throw it right into the trash can. Because there's always the fat Italian on there. And when you go to Italy, you can't even find a fucking fat Italian. But when you go to Staten Island, you can't find a thin Italian. That's the beautiful magic that takes place. At Lauren, she loves Staten Island. She takes a boat to work every day. Just imagine her. She doesn't have to get on a boat to go to work. This is the first time in her life. My brother was out at sea yesterday. First time since all this shit hit.
Yeah.
Guys, what do you say we fucking break right now? Is that a possibility?
That sounds good to me. Vito?
Yeah.
No, you good with that, Vito? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's great.
Is that good for you?
You sure?
Go walk
what
the
you
dog?
to say? Huh? You want to go walk the dog right now? I know you like to walk the dog. Spend a little time walking the dog. Huh? I got some dishes over here I want you to do, too. All right? You're a fucking sweetheart, the way you take care of it. I don't know what I'd do without you right now. You're walking the dog. You're doing the dishes. You know. You're a good kid.
Thank you.
Sometimes, though, you get a little fresh. You know what I mean? I got to fucking smack you down because you got a little bit of a fresh mouth on you. What was that thing in the Pope of Greenwich Village? I forget who we were bringing this up. So Mickey Rourke is walking down the street. Fucking, he sees this guy. A guy knows him. And he's like, hey, how you doing? He goes, I heard you out of work. Why don't you come back over? You can, you could be a waiter and run a couple tables for me. And Mickey had been a manager. And he goes like this, what did you just fucking say to me? Why don't you come fucking wait tables for me? And he turns around and literally kicks the guy in the ass as he's leaving. Literally kicks him in the ass for offering him a job. It's so goddamn funny. Now you go to the village. You're lucky if you can find an Italian.
That's true.
All right, let's break here, all right? Right back. Bennington.
Faction Talk 103, it's the Bennington Show. Faction Talk 103, it's the Bennington Show.
Yeah, buddy. It's the Bennington Show. I'd like to send a special shout out to our own Chris Stanley. We now got 30 days on demand. 30 days on demand. And who do we thank for that? The man. For coming up with 30 days in demand. Chris Stanley, we salute you, my friend.
Thank you very much, Ron. I really appreciate it. I'm glad everyone can go on demand and get 30 days of Bennington, wherever they want to listen to it on demand. But I need to bring up something and address Hard Rock Johnny, because I'm looking at Instagram, and he posts to his stories this message. The pizza stone went into the oven before it was on. Everyone knows that. Chris, when this is over, I challenge you to a cook-off at Bennington SXM. Number one, fucking challenge accepted. Number two, you're a goddamn liar, and you're trying to cover your ass, Johnny. I'm sure you just put the fucking pizza on a cinder block or something.
Look, Chris, I see that you're super pissed right now, right? I get it. You know, you're redlining. But let me just point this out to you about Johnny, right? A, he's a friend, and B, he's been under quarantine for the last 9 weeks, okay? He's a little cuckoo in the head. All you got to do is look at pictures of him with his hair sticking up in the air like he's a fucking, you know what I mean? Like he's going through a lot.
Yeah.
He's quarantined.
I know. It's all lies. It's all of us.
I got a building on my block completely on fire. It looks like on the top of the building. This building, I'm just going to bring this up to people. Grace Kelly used to live there. All right. So we're talking a very fucking important piece of American history. And now I got you and Johnny screaming back and forth at each other over a pizza stone, Chris?
Yeah, over a pizza stone, because this is serious beef. When he's trying to tell me I don't know what I'm talking about, when I exposed him for not being able to make pizza in his home. And look, pizza honestly probably shouldn't be made at home. Your ovens don't get hot enough. Oh, also, he was baking at 450. You got to crank that shit up to at least 500.
He'd have the stone would crumble with him. He waits until it's really hot, then he throws the stone in. But again, he's in quarantine. He doesn't even know what he's saying or doing half the time. Chris, you're bigger than this, okay? And one, he cooks, and two, you bake. These are two different worlds right now. It's like a boxer and a wrestler.
It's true. I didn't think of it like that, but I just wish he wouldn't attack me when I'm trying to give him advice. That's all. I mean, I just feel like I'm attacked.
Can I tell you why he attacked you? Because he's feeling bad about himself. He hasn't been out 9 fucking weeks. He hasn't done his regular workout. He'd have a chicken on a string and just pulling crab in, okay? He's not able to do that under these circumstances.
And that's tough. I understand that. But just the lashing out.
He looks at a guy like you, okay? You're doing all the great baking. You got a washboard. You fucking, you're on top of the world right now. You got a pineapple shirt. You got cool hats. You always got a different baseball hat on in every picture. Everything is working for you. He's got COVID outside of his building. He's a nervous wreck.
Yeah, I didn't think of it like that. I mean, the hats really are cool.
Can I just ask you a favor?
Sure.
Let it dangle. Let it dangle, my friend. Okay? Brush it off.
I mean, it was angering, and that was my first response emotionally, But if you can calm down, I can calm down. That's what I'll say.
I want you to look at Johnny. I want you to look at a picture of his hair standing straight up, sitting there with a broken fucking pizza stone. I want you to look at him and think this to yourself. But for the grace of God, go I. Okay? It's just a DNA thing that you're not Johnny right now. That's the only difference.
Wow.
You had a lucky birth. That's all.
I guess, yeah.
Chris, you were born on third base.
What?
You were born on third base. You're looking at 90 feet from success. All right. Amy. Is she bringing up Amy again?
She is. She's talking about
Juju.
Amy's purse.
Amy is not your blood. Pop-up is your blood.
She also has been saying Amy now instead of Mamie, so this is a new advancement.
I liked it better when she said Mamie. I thought that was funnier. What is she laughing at? Something that Amy gave her?
You like the bag that Amy got you? Yeah, it's pretty cool.
What kind of bag is it?
It's a penguin purse.
Do you know today's Penguin Day? So I got that sent to us. Happy Penguin Day, Juju.
I can't believe it. It was just World Penguin Day like last month. They get another
Every
one?
day is Penguin Day. When you're a child, every day is Penguin Day.
In this house.
Doesn't it annoy you, though, that Amy can... And this is Amy Miller. She's a big-time comedian. And she throws her money around like there's no tomorrow. You know what I mean? She's coming in. Everybody gets a little present. Here's a penguin purse for yourself. But know this, Amy Miller. I don't care how many penguin bags you give this baby. You're not the grandfather of that baby, okay? Legally, I have rights to that baby. Legally. You ever hear that people try to sue for grandparents' rights?
Yeah.
What are you fucking talking about? You couldn't go over and get into their car. If you took their car, it would be... But she doesn't want
She
you talking,
disagrees
right?
with you very strongly.
No. She gets a little jealous when mommy's on the radio.
She does.
Hey, a friend of ours is on hold right now. This is the guy who, oh man, he's the king in New York. You know what I'm saying? This is the guy who has a business like no other. The world's never saw business like this, as Trump would say. It's Wally the cue card guy. He's now making, and of course he's been the cue card guy for Saturday Night Live, Seth Meyers, you name a show, and he's running the cue cards there. He's now making custom cue cards for anyone who would like their very own. Just email cue cards by Wally at Gmail for more information. And there's a video option as well where Wally will give a personalized message. He's the guy in New York City.
He is.
Runs all the shows. Wally the cue card guy. Good to talk to you, buddy.
Hey, Ronnie. Hey,
Hello.
Gail. How are you guys doing?
Good to
We're
hear from
doing
you.
good. How are you doing during all this quarantine?
Well, I have been sitting around my house doing nothing for the first 2 months, and my wife's working nonstop here. She works in corporate America, and she's very busy. And my son is my youngest son is a senior in high school, so he's dealing with graduating, not graduating, and not having a graduation, and trying to pick out a college where to go to. So I'm the only one that's kind of in people's way. So
Right.
so I decided to get busy and start this second company that you just mentioned. Yeah.
Now, Wally, what would you write on these cue cards for people? Like,
So what I can tell you what I can't write. So I can't write Live from New York is Saturday night. I can't write anything that was scripted on SNL or intellectual property. But what I dance around with, and what I suggest to people is, like, some guy wanted something for his Zoom background for his meeting. So I wrote Live from San Francisco ... in nice big letters, and he put that behind himself so he can have it for his Zoom meetings. I wrote. This girl wanted to be inspired, and I worked with her on something. So we came up with work hard, be kind, and never give up. The best is yet to come. Something to inspire her that she could have on her wall framed and that she could look at, and it can inspire her to continue to do things and grow and stuff like that. So things like that. Whatever somebody wants. Someone just wrote me the other day, and I wrote this up. I've got your cue card right here. So something
Right.
funny like that.
now, are you worried when you'll get back into the studios again with people? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it looks. Some people are like, "Oh, it's so cute. Their kids are crying." To me, I want to get back. I want to see the studio. I want to have that touchstone.
I miss it. I'm Ron. It's my 29th year. This fall will be my 30th year working at NBC and working for Saturday Night Live. So, you kind of take it for granted a little bit. You've been doing your job for a long time. I've been doing my job for a long time, but I miss going into that studio so much. Like, I never thought I would miss it. I can't wait to go back. I don't know when it's going to happen. I don't know under what conditions, but whatever conditions they have, and they say that we have to do masks, less people, I'll be there whenever they say it's okay to go back.
Well, now you got till September, right? I mean, they've ended for the season now.
For SNL, yeah. I mean, I think Seth can come back without an audience. I think he could probably do it. I think he'd probably want to do it in the studio instead of at his house. I don't want to speak for him, but I think Seth and Fallon could shoot without an audience for a little while. I think. Not my decision, obviously, but SNL won't be back until at least the end of September.
Let me just tell you this. One thing I noticed, these children are not good kids. I mean, they're running around, they're getting involved. You know what I mean? They got to get out of that house. They got to get out of the house.
No doubt. No doubt about it. No doubt about that, yeah.
And you want the celebrity next to you. You don't want to look at a screen with a celebrity on it. You know what I mean? Like, it's a totally different situation.
Yeah, they're making the best of the situation. They're trying to, I guess what's good for us is that, they're paying me. I'm not doing any work for them at all, and they're paying me to pay my guys They started that up once they paid us for 3 weeks, and then they stopped for a little while, and then once they started doing the at-home shows, they picked up and they started paying us like we were going in, but we're not even going in. We're not doing it. And I held cards once over Zoom for Seth and Amy. They did a really with Seth and Amy, and I held cards through my Zoom camera on my computer, which was interesting. But yeah, they're paying us, so my guys are, at least they're doing the right thing in that aspect of it,
It's really nice because
great.
not everybody's getting that, and
no, definitely not.
You guys are holding on to this tradition. I mean, do we really want to go to teleprompter? I mean, that's so impersonal.
Yeah. I mean, they're using prompter apps for all their stuff that they're doing now, and I guess it's probably just easier to do. I couldn't write out 120 cue cards by myself for a closer look and do it at my house every day. It wouldn't be feasible. It wouldn't be time. The time constraint would be a little bit too long. So yeah, it's just easier to use the prompter app. They're not. I don't think any of them are happy with it, but they're using it.
You must feel like John Henry. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like it's you against
a little
the
bit
machine right now. Yeah,
a little bit. But like I said, they're still paying me, and that's a good thing. So I was just looking for something to fill my time up. I had lost. I was hoping to come in and see you guys. I lost a lot of weight over the summer. From starting in July, I lost about 50 pounds from July to December of last year. So I was really getting my life in order.
Amazing.
Yeah, you putting it back on now?
Yeah, a little bit. How'd you know?
It's the world. It's the quarantine world. You can't get out of it.
Yeah, I mean, not too bad. I gained like 8 pounds back. I have a Peloton in my house, and that's what helped me lose the weight in the first thing. But so I'm on that every day. It's just the snacking, And I heard you guys talking about Goldbelly earlier. I ordered Goldbelly pizzas from this pizza place, Cape Cod Cafe in Brockton, Mass, where I grew up loving pizzas, and that was not helping either. But it was just great to have a taste of home,
What's the name of that joint?
Cape Cod Cafe. It's from Brockton, Mass. Yeah. And they're small bar pizza sizes. They're really good.
That's so funny. Like your childhood pizza is always your favorite.
Yeah.
Pizza. And the place that I loved when I was a kid has closed down. But me and my friends talk about it. And now I don't even know if it was the best pizza ever. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just that it was the first pizza. But I swear I've never tasted anything that tastes that good again.
Right. Exactly.
Oh, good for you. I'm glad you got it. I'm glad maybe you need to follow Jenny Hutt on the movement. All right, I'm looking at pictures of this pizza. It looks pretty goddamn good.
Yeah.
It's
good. Now, see, my favorite was linguiça. You know what linguiça is, Ron?
No.
Linguiça is a Portuguese sausage. It's like chorizo or chorizo, but it's less spicy, and they don't offer that. But that was my favorite. So I got 2 pepperonis. I got 2 cheese. I would get the cheese. It's and then maybe put your own toppings on it. It's real good stuff. If you're gonna order it, It's a little pricey, but it's worth it.
Now, do you got all your NBC buddies plugging this new thing of yours? Is Jimmy Fallon going to mention it on his show?
Well, I was, NBC and Lauren were gracious to let me do this and continue with the project I started. They gave me permission, but NBC doesn't want to show that they're promoting this, and that at NBC,
right.
I can't use NBC in the name SNL to promote it in any way. So I don't know if they want to do something, but I can't approach them to do something right now. So
now I gotta just say this though, you're such a tradition in this city, and I've told you this stuff. I've known you for coming up on 20 years, and I've always told you got to write the book, man. You've seen it all. You've seen it all. This would be the perfect time. Even if you don't want to put it out now. Yeah.
I do have a tape recorder, and I have started writing things down and talking into the tape recorder about stories and things like that. So I am trying to take advantage of that right now. But I don't think I can actually write it until I get closer to retiring, in a while when the show goes away. But yes, you're absolutely right, Ron. I do have I do have a bunch of stories, which is, and I'm hoping this is a new chapter. And, I heard you talking this summer, and I didn't hear the follow up. You were talking that you had seen the Joker movie, and there were all these cameos that you enjoyed in it, but none of the guys that Gail hadn't seen it, and Vito and Chris hadn't seen it. And you said, there were all these cameos of people we know in it. Did you see me when you were watching the Joker movie?
Yes, I did. It was amazing, dude. It was amazing.
That was an experience, man.
Yeah. And that's wild, right? I mean, that was $1 billion movie.
Yeah. I did.
Did you?
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go. No, you.
I did 9 days of shooting for 4 seconds on screen.
9 paydays, though, right?
9 paydays, and here's the kicker. I got paid as an extra, as a featured extra, but I also got paid to do cue cards because I was there to help Mr. De Niro with his lines since I was there on set. So I got paid to do cue cards and as an actor, so I double dipped.
Did you see the documentary Daryl Hammond did about his life?
I watched it last week, actually, yes.
Oh, my God, it's so crazy. I mean, it's so depressing and frightening and different. I mean, he laid everything out there.
Yeah,
And I imagine you saw him go through a lot of that stuff, right?
Yeah, but, I didn't know he was dealing... you don't... They're in the dressing rooms a lot, and then they come up to the floor, and it's rehearsal time, and you say hi, and you chat a little bit, and I was gambling at the time when he was on the show, so we were always talking about gambling and games and stuff like that, and he would make fun of me, and they say, hey, Lucky Louie in the 7th, Wally, because Norm and I would always talk about gambling. But I didn't, really see a lot of that, the struggle and stuff like that, for what he went through. I read about it after, so I was a little shocked and just was amazed at how he could hold it together on the floor and rehearse stuff, while going through all that.
It was a nightmare. His life was a nightmare.
Unbelievable.
And I mean, he had the longest run of anybody in SNL, and his and kind of started older in life. I mean, he was one of the probably older guys that they brought into that show.
Yeah.
But his life was so frightening, and then he said a thing. It's freaked me out ever since. He goes, "There's no such thing about of alcoholic without childhood trauma."
Yeah.
And when I heard him say that, I'm like, "What the fuck happened to me?" What
oh no!
I mean, it was so scary.
Oh,
so goddamn scary.
Oh man, yeah. That was pretty interesting. It was a pretty interesting documentary.
Wally, the cue card guy, as I've said this before, Wally's had one of the most interesting lives of anybody in show business, because I doubt there's too many people that you haven't met over the years. And you get a chance to see celebrities frightened because they're doing live TV. Movie stars don't do live TV, but they come in to do that show.
Yes. Yes, frightened. Yeah,
that's got to be incredible. And people who think, I'm sure, I don't know, Charles Barkley has done a lot of live TV. You're going for a laugh. It's a completely different situation. You're going to be in a sketch. It might flop. There's at least one or two is going to flop every night. So they got to go through that. It's amazing when you think about it.
Yeah, Charles Barkley was a different. He didn't really care whether he did well or not, and he wasn't. He did not. Didn't read the cards well. We became pretty good friends actually. We text a lot and talk on the phone. But he doesn't, and the audience doesn't seem to care either. They love him. They just love him.
Yes.
Fumbling his way through a sketch. They don't care. Everything he does when he's on that show, he's been back like 3 times, 4 times. They love it. It's crazy.
He's naturally funny.
Yeah.
He's got that Tracy Morgan thing where he says something and you just start laughing, and then you tell someone else and you're like, well, you got to do it in his voice. It's much funnier when he does it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about ordering these pizzas for myself. They look really delicious.
They're really good.
Crazy. I also gotta thank you for this. your kid Matt came in and did the show with us. Was it last summer or the summer before?
It was first of all, I should be thanking you. It was last summer. Matt and his friend Evan, you were really nice enough to give them internships, and they fucking loved it. They had a blast.
Well, Matt is is a doll. He's just a great kid. His friend Evan is one of the most unique people I've ever met in my life. I don't even know what's going on there, but you may. As I said, because Matt wants to be in television production, he should just be doing an Evan documentary right now. I don't even know how that boy's mind works. I really don't.
No, I don't know how many conversations I'd walk in to Matt talking to somebody and be like, oh, that teacher hates Evan. And that was high school and college, I believe.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are you doing to make a teacher hate you?
He has zero filter. He doesn't understand. He dimes out everybody all the time without even realizing you got to keep a secret or two. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't say what's happening back there the whole time.
Yeah.
But they were a ball. Isn't it weird how time is that I don't even remember that was last summer?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's crazy. I was thinking that too. I was like, was that last summer? Yeah, and it was really fun. I'd be driving into work, and I put on the show like I always would. But then I get to hear you talking to Matt and goofing with Matt and Evan, and it was just a joy. I mean, and I will say half the stuff Matt said about me were false, but I'm not going to go on the record and try to correct everything and things that Matt would never follow up on. Like you said, they told you we live in Livingston. We're all from Livingston, Matt, Evan, and of course with me. And you were like, "Oh, the Ritz Diner. How's the Ritz Diner?" And they should have follow up question like, "How do you know about the Ritz Diner, Ron?" When were you at the Ritz Diner?
They think here's what they think Livingston is the center of the world. You know what I mean, they were, of course you know the Ritz Diner. Well, you're the best, buddy, and I know that you can call us anytime you want. You can stay in touch. I know it's weird to be in quarantine, and believe it or not, I think we're all going to get. The world will return one day.
Yeah.
But this is a great present. We've kept a cue card that Wally has given us for probably 20 years. And Wally, people asked if they could win that cue card. They asked if they could buy that cue card, but we keep it in the office and tell people about how, because that's how you and I met when I was talking about that sketch.
Yeah, I brought that over to you guys.
Yeah.
It's just that, you know what, Ron, the reaction I just started doing this really for real last week, and I've sent out 50 cue cards to 28 different states, 4 different countries, and the reaction of the people are it's like I'm making their day, and it's just like something in this time of quarantine where you can't go to graduations or birthdays and stuff. It's a cool gift to give someone or buy for yourself to make you feel good, and the reactions are making me feel so good about myself and helping somebody feel good. A woman in England, I'm not going to give her name. She bought 2 cue cards, and she's announcing to her husband that she's pregnant by pulling the cue cards and having her husband read the cue cards.
I love that.
And it's like the coolest thing, like to be involved in that, and it's so cool. So thanks for talking about it on here. And I told the guys before that anybody that wants to order one from the Here's on here, just say they heard me on Bennington, and I'll give $5. I'm going to give $5 to Red Nose Day, which is this Thursday. So every order I get from your show, I'll give $5 to Red Nose Day. And please put like two cue cards in your very big prize closet that you can give away into the future to somebody that wants to win one of those.
We'll definitely do that. Cue cards by Wally at Gmail. Cue cards by Wally at Gmail. If you've ever seen SNL, you've seen Wally on every episode as they're swinging and they're coming back from stuff, and you see them setting stuff up. Wally's always in that shot. I always yell, "There's Wally," every single time I see it. Let's stay in touch, all right, buddy?
Okay, buddy. Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
All right. Talk to you soon. Cue cards by Wally at Gmail. So the way that we met, this is back when I was on NEW. I come on, I guess it was a Monday night, and I said, I don't know whether you watched Saturday Night Live over the weekend. I go, I think I just saw the funniest sketch in the history of Saturday Night Live. And I go, it's the cowbell sketch, right? And I said this on a Monday. Wally gives us a call. He goes, hey, I'm the cue card guy from SNL. That was a really funny sketch. I go, oh, shit, I'd love to have you come in when you're free. And he goes, well, I'm free in the beginning of the night. I'll be in tomorrow. So he comes in, and he has a cue card with him that just says, like, well, got to have more cowbell. I need more cowbell, all that kind of stuff. And he had Will Ferrell sign it. And not to be braggadocious, but it surely is at least one of the most famous sketches in the history of that thing. So, of that show. And, you know, we've got it signed by Will Ferrell. The funny thing is, so we take that and we show it to his kid, Matt, and his friend, Evan, who we brought in for the thing. They're like, oh my God, look what the cue cards used to look like. Instead of even caring that it's Will Ferrell and this famous, they were more interested in look how Wally used to do cue cards back then. And, you know, look at the size of the, you know, they were so, because they've worked before for Wally. I thought it was the cutest thing in the whole world. But if you watch SNL and the cue card guys, everybody like has their own cue card guys that they're locked in on. They change those cue cards all the time, sometimes going right up to the end, and sometimes even in the middle of the show. And nobody really learns their lines completely because that show is written on the fly all the time. So they're always locked into the cue card guy. And when you go to that show and watch it, that's the two most fascinating things is watching the sets being built in a minute and a half, 2 minutes. One set will be pulled apart, the other set will be put together. And then two, watching those guys work off cue cards. And I don't know how Wally does it, that he's able to just keep dropping those cards. I mean, he has to kind of memorize it a little bit and memorize this. I mean, it's fascinating. It's fascinating fucking work to watch.
When Wally invited my husband and I to go see one of the rehearsals, he was taking us around in between the two shows, and it was so wild because they were revising jokes in that very short amount of time in between, and they were just going like hell back there, trying to make sure that they revised them correctly, had them back in the correct order in time for the live show. It was nuts.
And it's a super cramped studio. So they're doing, you know, I mean, they're doing electrical work. They're doing costumes coming in and out. They're putting on makeup. They're putting on wigs. You would be shocked. I mean, they're under the stands doing that cue card work. They have just a couple of feet of their own, each person. It's unbelievable. And then, you know, when you see something like if they have a bad season, or a couple of bad shows, and you know people are always ready to write them off. You go there and you think, well, this is impossible to begin with. It's just a remarkable thing. The show gets done at all, let alone has been done for 45 years now. You know, it's crazy to think everything that goes into making that live show. It's phenomenal.
One of the craziest things to me was we saw, because we went to the rehearsal, that means you get to see a longer version because they always have sketches that get cut. And some of the sketches that were cut had the most intense set design you could imagine. And I just kept thinking, I can't believe they had to build that set and then cut that sketch.
Yeah. They cut. I mean, when you watch the rehearsal, they cut 6-7 sketches most times.
Yeah.
6-7 sketch that they have not only rehearsed, but they've costumed, they've done the makeup, and they've built the sketches.
Yeah.
For 45 years they do that. It's unbelievable. One of the true New York institutions. I mean, if you ever get the chance to see that show live, it's one of the most entertaining things. And it doesn't, I mean, you're going to see great bands and you're going to see great comedy, but you're also going to be able to see these union guys doing work that you cannot believe. And just think, in 45 years, I've never saw, the sets fall down and hurt somebody. I mean, I got to feel like that's in the back of their mind every Saturday for 45 years.
Even those cameras, like swinging around those cameras, like, there's like a lot of things to choreograph.
Who was the band when you were there?
Oh my God, what's the red-haired kid?
Ed Sheeran?
Ed Sheeran.
You love Ed Sheeran. You're so lucky. You know who I got stuck with? Radiohead. And I had to sit there. And we were on the floor, and I had to sit there 10 feet away from a Radiohead song. And then the most exciting thing, and actually during the one of the breaks, Chris Robinson came out and sang with the band because Kate Hudson and he were still married then. And, he comes out and sings and people are just sitting. And I'm like, it's fucking Chris Robinson from the fucking Black Crowes. And then I saw Kate kind of walk back and just watch him. And she was just smiling, like watching, him do the song. And then later she was running through there and fell on me. I had Kate Hudson fall on me. That's how intimate and small that whole thing is.
Yeah.
Did you sit on the floor or in the bleachers?
I was in the floor, and it was like honestly, sounds like an exaggeration, but when they opened the doors and let us out to the floor, I honestly felt like I could pass out. I was so excited. It was such a surreal feeling because even those hallways, you've seen so many, every time they do a musical number where they go through the audience and then they start to go through the halls. So even that was felt like I had stepped into like a dream, like somewhere I had been before. But then when I stepped out, I was like in such shock. And then you have no idea, like, you can see that there's only like a few people on the floor, but you don't really realize how few there are until you're down there. So it just feels like you're in the world's tiniest audience. You know what I mean? And you have this giant show in front of you.
Yeah.
And there's only like, oh my God, I don't know, probably 24 of you, maybe less, that are actually on the floor.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not like the people in the balcony are far away. If you were in the balcony,
they're not.
It would feel really intimate, but you actually feel exposed on the floor.
Yeah, and there are
because they need a lot of room.
Yeah, there's certain sketches that they actually even make the people get up because the set goes out into the audience because it's too big of a set. So there would be times that they would be like, okay, you and you get up, and then they would just like move a set over. And then when they would do that, like even the people next to us would move and then we would be even closer. It would be like if you wanted to reach your hand in front of the camera and ruin a shot, you could. You're that close.
It's very weird that you haven't seen more people try to fuck with that show. You know what I mean? Because it's live television. I remember Dice got heckled, that somebody got in because Dice... There was some kind of, women's group or whatever that had said, like, enough with Dice and his joke. So somebody yelled something out at Dice. And, I mean, other than the regular people, like, yelling, ow, or something, trying to get themselves heard, I've never saw, a situation where you're like, oh, shit, they're in trouble, It's weird when you think about it.
Yeah. It's just the coolest experience.
I should just fucking ghostwrite the book using all Wally's stories. I can't get fired by Lauren. I remember we were sitting down there, right? And and Lauren's walking in and out, and I just see him lock onto me and stare at me for like, it felt like a minute, but it was probably 5 seconds. And I know he was like, who the fuck is he? And why is he sitting here? You know what I mean? Like, is there a reason he got that fucking seat? Because I don't know him. You know what I mean? I just had that thing of he was going to They were going to come over.
He was going to be like, get out.
Lauren doesn't like you. He'd really like it if you would just stand outside the door.
The crazy thing was when I spotted him, which was just before, I guess he came out for maybe just before the monologue started, and he was kind of pacing around and just before it had got going. And I was like, oh my God. I mean, he was like feet away from me. And I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. And then he led over a friend and his son to sit right next to me. And I look over and it was Jan Wenner.
Jesus Christ.
So I sat
two
next to
fucking
Jan
icons.
Wenner.
That's kind of the two business creative business icons of that entire generation. I don't know which one I would even say is bigger, to be honest. If there was ever a too close to call, it would be those two guys. And I remember, like, when Jan Wenner was running Rolling Stone, his office was only one floor up, and you would just see him on the telephone. Just, you know what I mean? He would just be at his desk on the telephone. You're like, who are you talking to right now? Mick Jagger? And now you would check with any younger people. They wouldn't even know who Jan Wenner is, but they would know who Lorne Michaels is, because it just happens over and over and over. And now Pete Davidson, a kid that he found, got a movie coming out. He wouldn't have got that movie if he never got Saturday Night Live. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy when you think about it. Adam Sandler. Look at that career.
Yeah. I was just remembering, too, because you were saying how you didn't think most young people would know. I remember when after I sat next to him at that taping, I did 20 questions with you to guess who I sat next to. And then the next day I was like, oh, should we play this on the air with the rest of the guys? And you were like, I don't think we'll get Jan Wenner.
Yeah. Well, look, only Earl would get Jan Wenner.
Right. And he wasn't with us then, I don't believe.
No. That's when the show was really fucking cooking. You know what I mean? That show was cooking with gas then. Everybody was friends. There was never any fighting. We have to remember by Friday, we're doing a trivia contest with these guys. Here's what we'll do. Let's just do this right now. And I'm going to pull the curtain there. I'm going to pull the curtain back right now and say this. We're going to give each one of them a choice of what one of the questions will be about. And you can make that as broad or as tight as you want to. I'll go, Vito, give us a category that you would wish to talk about. You want to say, this is a category I believe I can win in. Vito, you go first.
Mets trivia.
Mets trivia. You got it, buddy. Let's go to Chris Stanley. Chris Stanley.
Science fiction novels.
Science fiction novels. All right. The
difference in these two, the jock and the nerd.
Yes.
No, I made the correct choice because I had the choice. Vito chose something that Earl probably knows about. Neither of these guys know shit about science fiction novels.
All right. Earl Douglas, are you there?
Yes, I am.
First of all, I'm going to just say, you've got the most to win in this trivia contest. I mean, these two guys are literally a pain in your ass. If you win this, you're going to be able to lord this over them for a long time, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel pressure, Earl, or do you feel like this is my opportunity?
I feel really good. I feel very, very good.
What category, Earl, would you like?
I'm going to go try to do rock and roll.
Just all rock and roll. Broad. It's very broad. I thought all of them were really broad. I mean, there was nothing to stop him from saying Douglas family trivia. You know what I mean? Like, and yet he went as broad as he possibly could, rock and roll. Now, you know, Chris has rock and roll bands that he likes. Vito has rock and roll bands that he likes. But you've put it out there. You say no matter what is going to happen, I'll be able to get it.
Yeah, I feel really comfortable, and I still think I can smoke both of these guys pretty well in rock and roll.
And Vito, you didn't say the Mets trivia from 2010 to now. You said Mets trivia, and that's that goes from what 1962 on.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about that. I mean, I've read a ton of books about the Mets. I've watched a lot of Mets documentaries. I mean, it's definitely. I think there's a lot less there than the entire history of rock and roll.
All right, I'm just going to say this. This is just the kind of sample question I could do. I could put rock and roll and the Mets together, all right, with what rock and roll guitar player considers himself to be, and he's not from New York City, considers himself to be the number one Mets trivia person.
George Thorogood.
Oh, Earl,
Whoa.
what happened, bro? What
Whoa.
happened, dog?
Damn, son.
Now, I want everybody to know this. This trivia contest has started, and Vito has won.
Oh, son of a bitch.
It started now. It started now. That's just the kind of crazy fucking game we're running here.
I'm freaked out.
Dude.
I can't deal with this.
Earl, how did you not know that?
I'm not the biggest Mets fan in the world. I know some Met trivia, but not a lot of Met trivia. And
But it was
I had no
long,
idea
too.
that Thurgood was a big Mets fan. I figured he would be more in the area of maybe an Orioles fan or.
Well, that was in the question.
Yeah, you idiot.
Now, I'll also say this. Where's he from?
It's from Delaware.
Yeah, but what part of Delaware? Because only southern Delaware are Orioles fans. Northern Delaware are Phillies fans. I'm very concerned about you in this contest now. Boy, I'm telling you, the hits just keep coming. Big TV producer on the line right now says he has a cue card story. It's Justin Stengel. Justin.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Good to talk to you, buddy. What's up?
So I'm driving, and I was listening to Wally. I only met Wally once, but he is the coolest guy and like the most fascinating guy. He should be on your show like every week. He should be more famous because what he does is remarkable.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
It's
unbelievable.
So we did the Harry Connick Jr. pilot on the set of Saturday Night Live. They were done shooting. We were produced by NBC. They let us use the studio, which was like very intimidating. Like I just sat there because I literally watched it from the beginning, but I went over to Wally's table where he would revise his cards, and it's a marked up table, but everybody had signed the wall, like cast members, guests. There's just the names on the wall written all around that table. It was pretty impressive, and it's like something nobody would ever see.
Right. It's unbelievable. And then when he took me back there, I was like, I had no idea. And also the thing about Wally is in the beginning of the week, everybody kind of ignores him. They're like, oh, because they're meeting the cast, they're meeting Lauren, and then by the end of the week, they're like, Wally, where are you going to be? You know what I mean? They're so fucking dependent on him. Like, Wally, please, you're going to be right there. And they also talk in front of him like he's not there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
at the beginning of the week.
He's a piece of equipment. It's like
right.
He's just sort of there, but then all of a sudden he's the most important person or piece of equipment in the whole show on that last day for these guys. But go on.
No, I want to hear you.
All right. At Letterman, Dave was old school. Everything was cue cards, no teleprompter. And in the dressing room, Dave would go through his monologue jokes and was all on cards. Tony Mendez was our cue card guy. And Tony would go through it, and Dave would always play with the language. And, like, he rehearsed a joke 1,000 times, and now this time he wants a word change. And Tony would make the little marks on the card, go back to his desk, put white tape down, rewrite the joke, and that would happen all the way up until showtime. And, like, Tony was very good. And as you were talking about, the cue card guy has to know when to switch the card. Now, if it's one joke per card, it's easy. But if it spans over, he has to know when Dave's done with that card and when to move on to the next one. So again, there is like a talent. There is actually like a talent here. We did a sketch once. I don't remember the joke, but it was something about a Japanese corporation, and we had an actor that looked like the Japanese person that was in the news. And the gentleman came out and did his speech in Japanese, and the cue cards were written in Japanese, and Tony still had to know when he was done reading that line and when to switch it. And to this day, I have no idea how he did that.
Yeah, and you're right. It's one thing to do the monologue or the weekend update, but it's another thing when somebody is in the middle of a sketch. You have to know that sketch because you can't fit a whole sketch on a cue card. It's insane work. It's insane.
And also, sometimes these guys will mess up a line or add something. So, like, you're not on autopilot. You got to be listening and keep that card up to keep them so they get back on track and everything. And every once in a while, like, we had everybody in music on the show. And occasionally, sometimes, they would want the lyrics there. Like, you'll see in concerts, sometimes you would see set lists or lyrics or whatever on the floor. But, like, we had B.B. King on the show, and he's singing The Thrill Is Gone. And everybody knows The Thrill Is Gone. And he had his lyrics on cue cards, and I took the cue card, and I still have it in my house, that says, the thrill is gone away. You would think out of everything in that man's life, he doesn't need that on a cue card. Like, you should just know that one.
Yeah, I've seen really big rock and roll stars from New Jersey have their stuff on a teleprompter, and you're like, these are the most famous fucking songs in America, and Born to Run is on the fucking teleprompter. It's crazy.
I mean, like, and I don't fault them because I can't do what they do, and I'm sure it's a security blanket, but if you're touring and you've been playing the same song for like 40 years, I'm sure some of it, like muscle memory, is in there where you can kind of, like, it's Born to Run. Okay, if we're talking Darlington County, which he probably doesn't sing in concert that often, that I get. Okay, throw that one up. But Born to Run, that man sings every day of his life. He probably sings 6 days a week for like 30 years.
All right, I got to go to break. Justin, I want you to text your brother, Eric, and tell him that Ron said you really did good. All right?
Oh, finally.
You really did you did a good job. That was a good story that you had.
I derailed your show last week. I still feel bad.
I loved it. It, buddy.
You guys are the best.
You too, pal. The world famous Stengel brothers, they produced Letterman show for many, many years. They had that Harry Connick Jr. daytime show. I thought that show was a lot of fun. I think Harry Connick Jr. is one of the most talented fucking people I've ever seen in my life. And I'll say that as a piano player, I'm saying that, okay? I mean, that's high praise coming from me. We got a break. Got another big name coming up. It's the Bennington Show.
Faction Talk 103. It's the Bennington Show. Faction Talk 103. It's the Bennington Show.
Bum, 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 bum. It's the Bennington Show. I'm not even sure what today is. Is it Tuesday? Is that where we are in our life?
It is
Tuesday. Yeah, okay. Now I get
Although it. I will tell you, earlier today I can't believe today's Thursday already. And I was like, wait a second, It's not.
That's a very normal mistake that somebody said to me, what day is it? I go, who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? It just really doesn't matter.
Doesn't mean anything.
Doesn't mean shit. We're how far through May? I think Memorial Day's coming up soon, right? Is it next Monday?
Yeah, next Monday. This coming Monday, right?
This would normally be the big exciting thing. Oh man, it's kicking off. You know, it's a big Memorial Day. There's going to be some giant movie comes out that everybody goes to see. People are going to head to the beach and open up their cottages for the summer or their lake houses. Not this year. You're going to be wearing a mask at the beach. That's really romantic. I wonder if we'll have teen comedies about this era where kids will be getting their first kiss through a mask. Wait a minute. What am I? Why am I giving this? Why am I giving gold away, Gail? All right. Let me just get my first line down of this fucking screenplay.
Okay.
Dawn comes up over the Jersey shores. The fish barkers are selling their wares along the boardwalk.
Okay.
We see a large spider slowly being crushed under the boot. What's the baby falling asleep and waking back up in there?
Yep, exactly. She was
So
wild
she just
while Wally was on, but now she's 90% asleep right now.
90%. I didn't sleep last night, really. Not that it matters. You know what I mean? That's the beauty of it. I'll go, what does it matter when I sleep? Doesn't.
It just doesn't matter.
It just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. Beep, beep, beep. Wally, the cue card guy into Justin Stengel. I mean, we're New York history right here today, folks. I mean, you're getting it all. You're getting my favorite year spoon-fed to you. Okay? So, yum, yum, eat 'em up. That's what I'm trying to say to you. But I can't make you, I can't make you get it. It's up to you, You
By
want
the way,
show
Juju
business
did
history?
do a trust fall while Wally the cue card guy was on.
The trust fall, which I'd never heard that concept to today, you'll see on our stories, where Juju messing up a take. Well, actually, Gail, I guess you messed up
I
the
messed
take
it up.
by
I messed it
breaking. It's so damn cute, though. And then she just trust falls right into you. Did she know we were even filming that, or it's just something she's just living life?
She was just living life. It was actually really funny because she actually had to be prompted to behave normally because I set up and I was all ready to record what a normal day looks like. And then she sat on the edge of the bed quietly reading. And I was like, you're kidding me, right? You would never do this if I was actually on the air.
Quite frankly, she's a pain in the ass when it comes to that kind of thing. Like, she is a contrarian. You know what I mean? She's doing her own thing. She's a rebel without a cause. Well, I guess she has a cause. Her mom. Beep, beep, beep. Oh, no, I'm just going through. I'm seeing Adele at the beach. I think this is Mexico, like a month before lockdowns. Adele from the stand.
I wish I could go down Mexico way.
Well, you can. You'll just be all corona up down there, I guess. I guess it's not a bad place to get corona, because then you could end up with Montezuma's revenge and take care of everything one fell swoop.
I want to go to Mexico City. This is something I'm just putting out there in the universe. I've been thinking about places I want to go as I've been stuck here. Mexico City. I've never been. That's where I want to go.
They said the food is unbelievable, but you're going to be packed in with a bunch of corona people, so let's wait until the vaccine. Alan Dershowitz just said this. He said, it's constitutionally correct that the government can force you to take the vaccine. He says it's in the Constitution.
I'm not sure that that's true, but also it also sounds very creepy. As much as I would like everyone to get the vaccine, the idea of government forced vaccines also sounds scary to me.
I don't care if they got to put the vaccine directly in a needle into my eyeball. I'm getting the vaccine first day.
Your first wave?
Yeah, I'm first wave. I'm going to go. I'm going to open my eye up. Just give me the goddamn vaccine and let me be free again.
I'm going to be second or third wave, I think. Let me know how it goes.
You're going to be stuck. You're going to be stuck inside while I'm doing the goddamn Charleston up and down the streets. Yeah, I'm looking forward to
you knew how to
vaccine.
do the Charleston.
Yeah. I'm old enough I can remember taking the polio vaccine, and my parents were so happy. They were like, they go, no matter how screwed up your life, I was a little kid, they go, no matter how screwed up your life will be, at least you won't have polio.
That's true.
And then I was confused. I thought I was going to play Marco Polio. I go, oh, man, this is so exciting. I've never really been in a big pool like this. Yeah, I'm taking it. I'm going to probably double dose on the vaccine. You know what I mean? I feel like you don't know me. I can handle a lot of vaccine. Because I remember no matter what the drug was, I go, should I have two? I should probably have two. Let's fucking double down and make sure that I got plenty in me.
I have a high tolerance, so.
I'm like Trump when it comes to stuff. I'll give it to him even before it happens.
Yeah.
Because I love it.
Or possibly just say that you take it. Either way, who knows?
Yes, doesn't matter. Yeah.
Either
I
way
did
is
two
weird.
Quaaludes. Yeah, I'd go into a party saying, I already did 2 Quaaludes. Let's do some shots.
Yesterday I was thinking, is it weirder for a president to admit that he's abusing a controlled substance? Or is it weirder to lie about doing that? I'm not really sure. Either way, it's fucking 2020 style.
Yeah, he's still here, like he said. Can't hurt. I was like, yeah, it can hurt. No, it can't.
It can.
It's good. And nobody even asked him to bring it up. He just brought it up out of nowhere. That was one of the best. That was one of the best press conferences I've ever seen him do, because he went into that to the dog bit that we like so much. Yeah, he's going to walk his dog. Going to walk his dog.
Also, Nancy Pelosi commenting on that. She first starts off with shall we say, and then throws down morbidly obese. Like, you can't say shall we say first and then throw down that.
Can I tell you something? I got friends mad about that too. They're like, why did she have to come back with that? You know what I mean? They were basically saying it's like if somebody would say something racist about Obama. I go, well, they did. People are,
Yeah, he was one of them. The guy you're defending was one of them.
No, we're in that. We're in that, Gail. We've suddenly become political. We were all just about the dog. Just the dog. It's the Bennington Show on what we now found out is a Tuesday. And that means that we've got 1 month of on demand thanks to our own Chris Stanley. He is now. Whoa. Vito, you got to bring that down. Vito.
Vito.
Yeah.
Can you bring the sound down?
It is.
Ron, we still got you.
Oh, this isn't helpful.
I'm not sure.
All right. Does anybody else hear this besides me?
I just hear something very faint, but I can't tell what it is. I hear like a man's voice, but I can't hear anything. It's very faint.
Are you still hearing the sound? All right, I think Ron just dropped off. Vito, can we run to a quick break in order to try to get things reset for Ron?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do a quick break, and Bennington will be right back.
Faction Talk 103, it's the Bennington Show!
Bennington is back working out some technical difficulties, which will come up now and again when you're doing social distance radio. Voice on the Radio by Connor Bracken and the Mother Leeds Man. Pretty appropriate choice considering Ron was hearing voices on the radio. Do we have Ron back with us now?
I am back, but on the telephone like stupid Chris Stanley. I'm standing in my kitchen, which I just noticed we got a chicken roasting. So it's a little warm in here. Not going to lie to you.
That's a hot place to do radio.
So this is the funny thing, too, Gail. I'm like saying to you, like, oh, we're getting a little too political here. Suddenly, I hear the Karen Hunter show, and they're laying out some Malcolm X stuff, and they're just really, and I'm like, what? How political is Gail getting now? She's bringing up
It's a hostile
X.
takeover.
Yeah. And they're still on. I just, because I kept my headphones up in the other room, but I mean, they were just playing some KRS-One. I mean, they're going way deeper than we would.
I know. I just pumped it in because I was like, political. I'll show you political. I was just making a fat joke. I make those about Chris.
The good thing is we just blew off a major star during that that thing. So we'll see if we can't do something about that later. But yeah, you are right. I mean, we're 9 weeks into this, and that was our first really big, strange thing that happened. And that probably could have happened at the studio. You know, we run a lot of shows on Sirius XM, but home office, it's all right there, Gail.
I know. This is what happens in a pandemic. The funny thing was, to me, you never went away. So I had heard like this very faint thing. I thought maybe someone was accidentally playing a video, on their phone and it was just running. But you were hearing it full in your headphones. And I realized what I was probably hearing was just a slight bleed over from your headphones because I couldn't really hear what you were hearing the way you were.
I heard full blast. And then I never heard you even slightly. So we have a group text for everybody on the show. So I'm just writing to them, and I'm hearing nothing back on the group text. Nobody. And then like a minute into it, I hear, well, we still hear you. And I'm like, okay, now I know I sound insane. I sound like a crazy person.
Just yelling into the void. Hello.
Engineering wants to know if you still hear it in the headphones.
Yeah, it's blasting in the other room. I'll go in right now. I'll just let you
step away from that hot chicken.
Yeah.
Missouri, graduated with 17 or 18 people, and hadn't really met or seen black people outside of TV until he got to college. And he actually reached back out to me about 6 months after I picked it up.
I'll say this: it sounds like really good radio. Just killing it.
There's some great programming. It's just happening directly into your headphones.
Yeah, I can see they're taking life a lot more seriously than we do. White privilege show over here. We're just like, hey, it's fun. And they're like, hey.
Movie club.
Yeah, movie quote, everybody. We're going to be doing a trivia game with our producers. Should be a lot of fun. The person who wins gets a free roasted chicken, if you like that. And we've got Wally on talking about cue cards, and he's going to explain to us what we're doing. And they're like, their show is like, the time is now, brothers and sisters.
Did you, for a second, think maybe when we said we didn't hear anything that you were just in a doppelganger world like Chris would write a movie about?
Well, it felt physically real. That's what I'll just say. So, I know the voices in my head, they're much friendlier, and they're just telling me to jump. But in this case, it was a whole nother scene going down. Well, I guess I should go out and see if the pool's open. Not a lot for me to do. Maybe see if some people put some burnt furniture out on the sidewalks after the big 18-alarm fire on my block.
Yeah. Does it seem like that's calmed down? Have they got it under control?
Yeah, it's all under control now. Looked like it was a giant air conditioning unit. I guess I'm a reporter in the field. Gail, I'm standing outside of a burning building. Once was the home of Princess Grace, is now nothing more than smoke and ashes.
Ron, that's great, but we'd love to get you another take with you walking and talking at the same time.
Fantastic. Gail, there's an eerie calm that has come down over this area, which was once a towering inferno. Towering Inferno, of course, was a classic movie starring not only Steve McQueen, but also Paul Newman and the late, great Ernest Borgnine. Every star of the show seems to be dead, and none of them from an actual fire. Back to you, Gail, in studio. I'm going to put my mask back up so I don't touch the coronavirus.
I'm being told that you should be able to not hear that show anymore.
All right, let me go over.
Seems promising. Not hearing blasting through this time.
Let me do a check.
A checker.
There, we have you back.
Good.
Well, that was fantastic. Back again.
Ronnie's back.
I now realize what a cut-off idiot Chris Stanley feels like, just having a dumb phone up to his ear throughout the show.
I mean, that's not radio.
It's not even telephones with him. I don't know where he got his thing. I think he's the last person to get a phone from Pep Boys. Hey, everybody, I got this phone for $8. Well, you should have got change, Chris, because you got a $4 phone, bitch.
Chris's phone has caused more problems with this show and the way we communicate. Just to the fact that he's the one non-iPhone person.
I got to tell you the truth. After what I've been through, I feel like I've suffered more than Mikey D. I feel like I'm going to have a post-traumatic stress that's going to go on for generations.
You know, we have also a separate text that just involves iPhone users, and I love it so much more because I love that I'm able to react freely to everybody's texts. Everything comes in on time.
Well, Vito isn't even part of our text chat anymore. Is that correct?
Today was the first time I was able to text you since Friday in that chain. I've been responding. My phone just wouldn't deliver it. I would try to disconnect from Wi-Fi, reconnect, try to figure it out. But because of Chris, I'm only able to text you guys when it's only iPhone people because Chris's phone screws everything up for me.
And the funny thing is, over the weekend, Vito would text me, hey, would you mind throwing this into the group chat for me? Because he felt so left out not being able to respond.
I feel like Vito is probably just napping and not reacting to texts. And then Earl thinks that all he has to do is put a pair of praying hands there, and it's all good.
Well, let's be honest. I started praying hands, and then he co-opted.
Yeah, you're right. But he brought a soul hand to the whole thing. It kind of made it cooler.
Something I could never compete with.
All right, we had a big star lined up, and then we were going to do Dan Perlman, but I imagine we don't have enough time here now, right? For Dan, he's got an announcement to make. Maybe we could do him tomorrow. Am I off
How
the
much
air
time do we
again?
have? No,
Okay,
you're here.
I had no idea.
I was waiting for Vito to respond.
Yeah, we got about 11 minutes left, and I don't think we
We have a little longer today because we took a break, so we have about 15 minutes from right now.
All right, so if you want to
exciting.
do Dan real quick and let him plug his thing, we can do that. I didn't know. I like the idea of taking that break there and then having a longer show. I think I'm going to stay with that. If I learned anything today from Karen Hunter, it's fucking just put your foot on the gas, man. You know what I mean? These are the times for it, you know?
Yep.
Up against the wall, bitches. You know what I mean? That show's good. I had a chance to listen to it. They were firing on all cylinders.
Nice.
I listened to you guys, and now it sounds like wimp radio to me. You know what I mean? It's just like, I don't know. It seems like everybody's nice. You know? It seems like everybody's a good person. Hey, I am going to
Now I'm
go
allowed to do
political.
my fat jokes.
I'm going to go political for you now because I saw a response that Trump has now said that Nancy Pelosi has mental problems. So this is where we are. One's overweight, the other one has mental problems. What are you two, divorcing or trying to get us out of a fucking pandemic?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, it's not real. It's none of that is political. Talking about that stuff is the sideshow. That's what it is.
He said, Pelosi's a sick woman. She's got a lot of problems, a lot of mental problems. We're dealing with people who have to get their act together for the good of our country. You can't say that somebody that has mental problems has to get their act together. There's nothing they can do. All right, now I'm understanding that we lost Dan Perlman.
No.
Not going to happen. Maybe I can get Wally back on the phone and just see what he's up to. You know, Wally, still doing cue cards, are you? Making that whole thing happen. It is the Bennington Show doing quarantine radio, and we do appreciate everybody understanding what it's like that we're doing this from so many different places. And also, I wanted to announce this. Ryan Seacrest did not have a stroke the other night. He is fine. A lot of people who were watching the last episode, the finale of American Idol, thought that Ryan's eyes looked different sizes, and they thought that he was having a stroke during the show. But apparently, here's what I don't think they're understanding. He's staring at a screen from 8 inches away now. You know what I mean? Like, he used to go out. He would have a lot of people working for him. Like, we're back in 2, Ryan. You're there. Oh, the shot's going to be right here. And now he's all by himself in his house staring at a fucking Zoom camera for 3 hours. And I guess one of the eyes just got a little twitchy, got a little weird, you know? But then he made the mistake of not doing Kelly and Ryan the next day. So that made all the conspiracy nuts go crazy. But I noticed this. He also he had somebody else speak for him. He didn't go on Instagram or Twitter and go, hey, everybody, I'm fine. So it made me think that he was thinking, hey, this could be, nice. They're talking about me. I'll be back tomorrow. But they can spend the next 14, 18 hours worrying.
Because I didn't see this, I just looked it up, and I would be concerned too. I probably would have gone, this is a medical episode of some sort happening before us. I've never seen anything like it.
No, I never saw anything like it either. And I guess at the end of the day, what we realized is we are willing to cover up illnesses now like it's the 1940s. You know what I mean? Like, something happened. Your eye just can't do that because you're tired.
Right, exactly. It's not possible.
Seacrest out. I mean, he invented that. That was his baby.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole world was saying it when we were leaving parties. We'd go like, all right, got to go. Seacrest out. And then we'd all have a big laugh about it. Then we'd high five. and it would be, well, it was a simpler time. It was less coronavirus everywhere. Speaking of coronaviruses, have you seen the people that were going around wearing watermelons over their head as masks?
No, I did not see this.
Yeah, they hollowed out watermelons and they were just walking around town, and they thought they were
fresh.
having a little fun with it. But everything is changing. There's a Catholic church in Chicago that is spraying people with holy water from a squirt gun, from like a water pistol. And he's just going along the body of Christ and squirting you with a water pistol. And I feel like it puts the fun back in the Catholic Church where it never actually existed before.
Yes. They were never ones for fun.
No, they weren't. But now you get squirted in the face with a water pistol. They'll smack you across the mug with a communion wafer pie. And it's really become a more slapsticky thing. Speaking of which, I was watching an amazing thing on Turner Classic Movies last night. It was something that Peter Bogdanovich did on Buster Keaton. And I know, Gail, you were always more of a Buster Keaton fan than a Chaplin. They were the Beatles and the Stones of the silent era. And the bumps that this guy took, I think you'd have to go all the way to Mick Foley before anyone got really close to being that fucking crazy with their own body.
Yeah, I mean, he was absolutely the best. I mean, his physicality and just like the deadpan thing was just so great.
Yeah, it was crazy. Did you ever see the bit that they did where he started a landslide and there was the giant boulders chasing him?
Oh,
and
yeah.
These weren't big foam boulders. He was like, let's get some boulders and have me run away from them. And I mean, you're just looking at it. And you're like, it's just a movie, dude. You're not Tom Cruise where you're going up into SpaceX and trying to shoot a movie up there. You don't need to do this. You're already Buster Keaton. But I had no idea this. When he was a little kid, he got into the family act from like 11 months on. And the act was they would throw him in all kinds of crazy things as a little kid. And they actually had a handle put on his jacket so they could pick him up. And then they throw him. And one time, his dad threw him at a heckler.
Oh, my God.
And even for those days, they would get busted for like child abuse. And they'd have to go in and go, no, the kid knows how to fall. And they're like,
No,
this is really not good, what you're doing with your son. It's not a good thing. Now, I watched this last night, and they have all kinds of stars coming on talking about it, and they're showing these amazing things. I'm still more of a Chaplin fan. I'm going to be totally honest with you. I think there's a sweetness to Chaplin that is more modern filmmaking than just the stunt work that Buster Keaton did. I mean,
he was very vulnerable.
Chaplin breaks my heart. I watch him, and it's just so sweet. And, you know, Buster Keaton is like a big kind of strong thug. You know what I mean? Like, he's really a powerful human being that you were like, why are you making comedies? You should be making action films. You should be, you know, falling off buildings and rescuing people. I don't know how your scariness is comedy. But I guess he was the Eddie Murphy of his time. He's like, I am a comedian who doesn't take shit. I give shit. It's the Bennington Show on a Tuesday, doing this social distancing. And first time in 9 weeks, we had a problem. I was getting another show in my ears. I still, to this moment, have no idea what you guys heard or why I never heard back from anybody, but we're here now, and it's working, and we're keeping it together, and we appreciate you guys being here. It was, it's been a phenomenal experience. It really has. And there's also, there's a lot of pain in the times that we're all living in. But I've been really, really surprised that people are able to find moments of joy and comfort and, normalcy in the middle of all this madness. There's a TV show that went on the Food Network. Amy Schumer Learns to Cook is the name of it. It's a big movie star, television star, stage star, and she's doing this cooking show with her husband, and they're basically working a little better than Zoom, but these little automated cameras and their nanny running kind of a cell phone camera. Mm-hmm. And I watched 2 episodes, and I'm like, okay, it's clumsy, it's not professional, but it's kind of good. Their kid is there with them, and they're cooking, and she's kind of mean to him sometimes, and he takes it. He has a very Al Dukes personality is the best way to put it. You know what I mean? He just goes along with it. And everybody, like, that whole things of opposites attract is never more true than it is at the show. And your mom is like, it's sweet how much they love each other. I go, oh yeah, it's adorable. They're going to get divorced one day, but this part of it is very, very cute. Yeah, this part is cute to see how 2 opposites. And then Amy looked like she had a half a wine. You know what I mean? Just like a half a glass of wine, and I started seeing her getting surly in episode number 2. And I'm like, we might even see the divorce during this show.
Your tolerance goes down after you have a baby.
It must be
very easily.
Yeah. It must be wonderful, though, to be with somebody who's like a Michelin style chef. You know what I mean? That he's that good. Yeah. But then you got to say to yourself, I don't know, can we just have a cheeseburger? Does it always have to be, you know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
Does it got to be Fentel every night? Can we have the occasional, just nacho chips and some chili? I don't see why we have to go to such extremes night after night. But they got this really sweet cabin that they're staying in somewhere. It's just a little tiny thing, but it's like, it's perfect. It's perfect for what they're doing.
I don't know why.
We got to get.
I was going to say that the cooking shows are like the most comforting right now to me.
Yeah. Hey, has the baby been sleeping on your lap this whole time?
Yeah, she's been sleeping.
Yeah. I can never tell now. We've gotten to the point now where I can never tell if there's a kid on your lap.
Yeah, it's usually a good 75% of the show now. I'm trying to do radio with one hand.
Doesn't like to sleep on her dad.
No, she did just a couple nights ago. She fell asleep on her dad's lap, and we were like, this is a first. This is crazy.
This is crazy. What is happening? There's so many changes going on right now. All right, we do have to wrap this one up. It was a fun show. Wally, the cue card guy, and when Justin Stengel called after and started talking about the cue card stuff, I was so happy to hear people in the business who totally get how remarkable and crazy that is. Let me see, in the middle of all this madness, I lost this plug, but you should get one of these cue cards. It would be really sweet just to get one that says, I miss you, and be able to hold that up. Wally, the cue card guy, cue cards by Wally at Gmail, cue cards by Wally at Gmail for more information. He's one of the best dudes in the business, and it was really great when we had Matt working with us last summer.
I know.
To just
they were so
see
fun.
the way
Matt and Evan both.
But to see the way Matt talks about his dad and to know that they have that relationship. Okay, guys, we got to move along with this. We'll be back with you tomorrow. A lot more to do. Thanks for putting up with some of these screw ups because it is part of the game now. It's going to happen again from time to time. You guys take care of yourselves. Stay stay very, very safe, and be cool. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you.